Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors in Winston, Chester. Glad to hear this Monday morning. I know everybody's excited about going to work today and getting everything done and getting to see the people you haven't seen all weekend. So I wish I was with y'all, but I just got to stay here and work on my retirement program. So anyway, today's show is going to be special. You'll understand later on as we get into it, but let's get started with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. The high today is getting all the way up to 64 and low 44. Just as seasonable weather this time of year. And now February started. It's hard to believe that February is here, but we have it, and it's going to be gone. Shortest month of the year. And we always give February. We talked about this last year, if you remember. We don't give a lot of respect to February as far as outdoorsmen, but there's a lot of neat things you can do in February, and I'm going to talk about them later, like the quail hunting, the rabbit hunting, and some good fishing, the sheephead fishing, the crappie fishing, the bass fishing. And February deserves a lot more respect than we give it as an outdoor month. So anyway, the water temperature has gone up to 57 degrees. That's pretty steady. The moon phase, now we had that big full moon last week, so it's waning on out, and a 2-week cycle. And everybody I have on the show, the outdoors, I always talk about the phases of the moon, how important that is. Like Drew Benton said last week, if it's above you or below your feet, a lot of times that has a big effect on bass fishing. All right, let's take a look at our moon phase brought to us by Sandhill Seafood, good folks up there. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at the sort of neap tides today. The marine forecast is going to be north-northeast at about 8, so it's going to be a pretty decent week. It looks like some rain coming back and had some of that, so it's going to be a pretty seasonable week as far as outdoors. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow as far as what the weather's going to affect us. Let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We got like I say, a unique show. What's coming up now next week? I want to talk about the National Wild Turkey Federation right here at the Convention and Sports Show, February the 14th through 18th. I say next week after next, but it's going to be. This is a big deal. I say it's a big deal, and I act like I know what I'm talking about. I do, but I have not been. But my nephew and his buddy Grant Conyers, they'll drive from Bristol to Tennessee every year to go to that. And of course, Stan Kirkland goes up there, and Ken goes up there, and they come back raving about it, and they tell me all the details. So I feel like I've been there when they tell me all about it. And then of course I go online and look at it, and it's not like a little 1 or 2 day show. It's special. So if you're into any kind of turkey hunting, I would recommend. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but it's fascinating at what you can do there. Okay, here's right here, just exhibit hall. The booth in exhibit hall is already sold out. Now, I'm just going to show you 1 day schedule. Let me go back here. It goes, it lasts like 4 days, like Thursday through Sunday. And I'm just going to pull up 1 day schedule, okay, and just show you. They have these little 45-minute or hour-long little presentations. Air of the Woman Hunter, private land management, getting the most from your trail camera. That's right there. I would love to go to that, and getting the most from your trail cameras. Ladies Auction and Luncheon, Senior Division, Box Call Magic, hunting the Gould turkey in Mexico, and introducing kids to hunting, food plot strategies. What I'm saying, you go up there, it's not just walking around looking at booths and all. They have these little clinics, constant outdoor clinics, and I would love to go to that. And every year I say I'm going, and heck, we may, if I don't show up and a lot of guests on the show, we may just take off and go. But it's always a lot of things going. Got to plan ahead, and so anyway, I just want to recommend the show to you. Also, I mentioned this right here. The last thing, they have calling competition, and call making competition, and also taxidermy competition. So you're going to see some of the best in the land as far as taxidermy, because I've talked to some of these taxidermists, and that's a big thing to them, is getting up there and having a competition and winning it. Okay, so let me go. I would mention, if you get a chance to go, what I want to talk about next is Lake Seminole. If you remember, we talked about how the fishing has been so good on Lake Seminole, and everybody knows where it's at and all. It's just a fascinating place, and the history of it is also fascinating. We got started on Lake Seminole, when the war ended and I had, instead of money going to war effort in 1946, a lot of the money across America went to building dams, the Tennessee Valley Authority and all across America for electricity. And if you traced your family roots and all, you could see where a lot of that went. So anyway, when we did, in 46, they started planning, started building the Jim Woodruff Dam in Chattahoochee. And what was fascinating about it, they had budgeted $29 million to build that dam, which was a lot of money back then. When they finished in 1951, it took them like 4 to 5 years. When they finished in 1951 and 52, they'd spent over $40 million. So you can see over budgeting overspending was a big deal even back then. I mean, they had a lot of people doing it. Also, Jim Woodruff, what was fascinating, I've talked about it before, it was built in such a unique area where the Flint River and the Chattahoochee River would meet, and there were a lot of Native American artifacts and a lot of the tribes and all. In fact, it goes all the way back to Spanish. There was Spanish mission there too. All that stuff was buried before, but before it was buried, a guy was able to walk around and buy, and on his land, they knew that it was going to be flooded, and he had permission to go all over the place and all, and he was able to get all those artifacts, and he was able to save them, which was really neat and all. But anyway, I just wanted to mention the dam and some other things too about it. The guy was Jack Wingate. I've mentioned Jack Wingate before, and he had a vast collection. Okay, so here's a dam. Okay, here's a dam right here. Here's Chattahoochee, and I'm just going to show it on Google Earth. Right in the center of the page is the dam. And it was a big boom to build that dam because it employed men from Jackson County, Liberty County, and Gaston County for like 4 years and making really good wages. To the left is the Chattahoochee River, to the right is the Flint River. Now this is about 37,000 acres, and it's about almost 30 miles long. The average depth is about 20 feet. The deepest part is about 40 feet. And it's great for duck hunting, bass fishing. It's just been red hot. But it's a big place, and a lot of places to go in. I would show you some places like the Booster Club Landing on the eastern shore, over here Sneads, the Three Rivers Park and all. There's some really good places and all. I don't have time to get in all the details, but if you love to bass fish or crappie fish or just want to go on some great boat rides, Lake Seminole is a gem here in the Florida Panhandle. I just wanted to pass that on to you. So we'll talk more about it too later on, but let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Jeff had a good question off the air. Do you need a different license? And yes, you do. If you're over in Georgia, there's a line there, and if you're over in Georgia up in the Flint River, even though you come in from Florida side, you got to have a license for Georgia, and even as you get up in Alabama, so you do have to have a different license and have lines and all, but most of it is Florida, so you can follow up, and I'll try to see if I find out exactly where those lines are, but that's a good question, Jeff. Okay, now, this is going to be a little different segment. This is something that's on my heart. I want to talk to you all about, just from me to you. It's sort of when I would talk to my students, when something just hit me, I would just start talking about it. And this is, a lot of times we'll wait and say, well, I'm going to do that, and we'll procrastinate. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to do that. But this is on a personal level. And this past week, last week was a sort of a tough week with our family and all. I don't want to tell you because we just lost so many people. And I actually wrote them down. A couple of acquaintances, and I'll start with a guy down in Port St. Joe named Jimmy Cox. Jimmy and I played high school ball against each other, a great athlete. He passed away over the effects of Agent Orange that he got in Vietnam. Man, he fought it. He was strong, a big old strong guy. He fought it and fought it and fought it. But we lost Jimmy Cox, and then a friend of mine, a veterinarian, local veterinarian, we lost him last week, and Rick Bartels, I would see him quite a bit. We went to the same church and all, and I would see him working out and all. So that was two acquaintances. And then on the family side, on my mother's side, Curtis Hicks, my mother's first cousin's husband, he passed away last week, and we planned to go see him. And then Florida Highway Patrolman Jerry Clenny passed away, and he was married to my cousin on my daddy's side. That's all last week now. And then I had my first cousin over in Jacksonville, Cheryl. She lost her husband last week, and I talked to her, and her roots are here, they up here in Gaston County, and all these cousins and all. Then, but one of them really hit me hard, and I'm going to show you this letter here. This is from Michael Allen. Michael Allen grew up one street over me. Not only was he my classmate, he was also a cousin of mine, and I would see him growing up at family reunions. So anyway, we all got graduated. He actually went to FSU, got a law degree, and was a district judge, Federal Court of Appeals. He was a judge, and he was very intelligent. But over the years, he didn't come to class reunions and all. So a couple of years ago, I just started emailing him on occasion. Hey, Mike, what's going on? And we got a family reunion now. We're going to always do it the Saturday after Father's Day. Well, he never answered, and but every now and then I just sent him a letter. I said, we got a class reunion coming up, and he never answered. And some of my classmates who knew of him over in Tallahassee area said, yeah, he's real busy with the judgeship and all that. But I wanted to get hooked up with him and all. So anyway, last Wednesday I received this one-page letter. Okay, and I love letters. I still love letters, and it was Michael Allen, and this was eloquent written. It was so well written, and it's never too late. And he apologized. First part of the letter, he just profusely apologizes for not getting back with me. And you can understand. He said he got my emails and all. He put it over in a tray, and he's got more and more stuff stacked on it. He said he's honestly forgotten it, but you could tell he was a judge the way he wrote it and everything. But I'm going to read you the last paragraph, because this is when it hits home, okay? And I'm going to have to, I think I may have to use my glasses, okay? In fact, to read it, I think I am. First time ever on TV, my reading glasses. But I don't want you to, I want to read this, okay? Because and he signs it just like old school, okay? So he's apologizing, and now he's saying this in the last paragraph, and you'll understand this. He said, nevertheless, Winston, nevertheless, I have lucid and pleasant recollections of the two of us playing together as boys and being friends through our school years, and I would very much enjoy our getting together for a visit. I travel to Panama City on business from time to time and hope that we might be able to meet for lunch when I go down sometime later this year. I will call or email you in a few days in advance of my trip down there in hopes that you will be available and would like to do that. Best regards, Michael. Folks, I received this letter last Wednesday. I got an email Thursday morning from one of my best friends and a classmate. He said, Winston, Michael Allen passed away last night of a heart attack. Now, is that not amazing that would happen? And then in that week where we lost so many people. So I say all this to say this. And so many times we have great intentions of getting together, of, checking on our cousin, checking on our friend, calling them up and telling them different things. And I find myself, and we're all guilty of this. And my word to you this morning, it has nothing to do with outdoors and all. It just has to do with life in general. And I'm just talking to you from my heart now this morning. If you have these folks that you've talked about wanting to go see and all, go see them. And actually take time. In fact, after this, I got a little list on my refrigerator now. There's 4 people, older people in my family, and we're going to go see them. And we just, we seen them like a year or two ago, but I want to go see them, and because you never know. These names I just listed, most of them, a couple of them were, had cancer and all, but some of them were just all of a sudden. And go. You can call them if you want to, but the best thing if you can just go visit with them. That's what I always told my students. I said, go spend some time with them, face to face. Touch them and give them a hug and those kind of things, because that's what means so much to them. And I would always tell my kids their level of hugs. They're just, oh, how you doing? And then, okay, we'll see you later. And then that's I put them in category 1 through 5. And category 5 is a really big 2-arm, big hug, and we just swaying back and forth. So I said, give them a category 5 hug. So now we're saying all this to say this. Coming up, we're going to take a break, come back with video. And this video was me and Captain Blair Morgan. And Blair Morgan was a classmate of mine, and we were just really good buddies. And we did a lot of things together. We played football together. He was our tight end, and I was fullback. Sometimes I'd get tackled, and I'd say, Blair, why didn't you block him? He'd laugh. He said, I did. He just ran too slow. But we just had that kind of relationship. So I went, and Blair loved the outdoors. We'd duck hunting all together. So he moved off anyway. He ended up back down here, Cape San Blas. And we really hooked back up and started doing some stuff together every now and then. And this is a little red fishing trip. Little did I know when I went on this trip, and we acted like a bunch of kids. We didn't fish very long, but I went right there at Indian Pass and just had such a good time. But little did I know, when I went on this trip, this would be my last fishing trip with my high school buddy and dear friend Blair Morgan, because it wasn't too long later that Blair passed away. And that's what I'm saying, when you go on these trips and you want to enjoy these kind of things and just, you know, don't take it for granted. Don't take 1 minute for granted. Don't take 1 day for granted that you're actually able to get out and do these kind of things. So I just want to, I got this on my heart. I want to talk to you about it. So what I want to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and show you this, my last fishing trip with my good buddy, Captain Blair Morgan. And I urge you to enjoy some things and do some things with your family and friends. And those times are precious, and they won't come back. So let's take a break. We'll come back and watch this video.
3 years of interviews and research produced the Florida Historical Society award-winning book, Full Box. The rich heritage of fishermen and boat builders fill the pages with the stories and original pictures of that era. Order your personally autographed copy of Full Box while supplies last. Already have one? Full Box makes a great gift for any occasion.
Hi folks, welcome to the show today. What we're doing, we're going red fishing with Captain Blair Morgan. Blair and I fish together as youngsters, and we'll get an opportunity to fish together every now and then and have a good time.
That's right, Wes. We was born and raised bass fishing.
Yeah, and we talked about the similarities of red fishing and bass fishing. We're going out to Apalachicola Bay.
Right.
And tell us how we're going to do it.
Well, I've got a big school of redfish located, and we're going to go out there in my little old flat boat, 16-foot John boat, and we're going to throw some topwater baits and some spinner baits, and I think we'll catch us one.
I hope so. Now, we're really sort of late in the morning. We're getting started. Usually, you know, crack of dawn, we're ready to go, but we're waiting on the tide, right?
Yeah, today the low tide was at 7, so actually it's about 11 o'clock now, and we waited for the tide to get in, and that's more important than anything as far as redfish. And plus, we got to have some water to go where we're going, because it's about 1 foot or 2 foot deep is all it is. Skinny water. We're going to work around the oyster bars, and you know, a lot of times we catch these little rat reds. We're going to sort of target some larger ones today. We're looking for big ones. Okay, sounds good. Folks, come with us. Okay, we're in the water now, getting started. Blair, what are you going to be fishing with? Well, I'm using a little spinner bait thing right here called a Thunder Spin. It's got one gold Colorado blade on it and kind of a little orange skirt on it. All right. This has been a real good bait out here. And I'm going to start off with this. Okay. And I'm going to start off with a skitter walk right here, my little topwater plug. So we're going to get started with this and see how we do. I stood up against this oyster pile, and boy, he busted wide open, Blair. You see that? Man, I heard it. He busted on top, didn't he?
Yes, sir. I threw this topwater skitter walk, and that's a nice fish here. I'm thinking it's a redfish. We might have to get a net on this one. I don't want to lose this one, Blair.
The way he busted, I got a net here standing by when you get close to him.
Now, I've had him. He's been there a couple of minutes, folks, already. Yeah. We just got the camera turned on. Blair and I aren't good cameramen. We're good fishermen, right, Blair?
That's right. Kind of hard to do both.
Oh, look, there he is right there. Look at him. God, look at this, Blair. Shine him in the water right there.
Where's he at? Oh, I see a big redfish.
Woo! Blair, what we gonna do, son?
Well, we're gonna need him here in a minute. You want to play with him?
I want to catch him.
All right, well, hold on. I'm gonna put the camera down. We're gonna need him.
Put the camera down. Blair, we gotta get this baby in.
All right, hold on.
Holy cow!
Look at here. Look at there, Will.
Oh, here, folks. I'm gonna have to catch my breath. I've been finding this redfish about 20 minutes, and we had the camera off. I'm gonna turn it back off and hold it up. Blair, man, thanks a lot.
All right, well, you did good, son. You played him just right.
It took a little bit longer than I thought.
He's a big one.
You saw him hit. You heard him hit.
Oh man, he body slammed. He hit that topwater bait just poof. But that's a big redfish right there.
All right.
We're gonna have to weigh him.
All right. Hi, Blair. This was a heck of a lot of fun right here, sir.
He's right in the slot.
Well, yeah, he's close to the slot right here. Yeah, folks, I want you, if you can see where he swallowed, we couldn't, no wonder. I bet I fought in 15 minutes?
Wilson, you probably had him on longer than that.
It felt like a long time.
He swallowed that topwater bait.
That's an Apalachicola Bay redfish. Strong, folks, these are strong, strong fish.
Well, that's one thing that makes them so strong. He was in about a foot of water, maybe 2 foot.
Yeah.
And the only way he can go is horizontal.
Boy, he attacked it. It reminded me of the big old bass we used to catch over there in Lake Jackson, Lake Tarquin.
Oh man, he popped it.
Blair, thanks for the help, man. Blair kept that boat. He kept moving around. I wanted to pull him in. He said, don't muscle him. And I had a little 6-pound test line on there. And I thought, and he didn't ran up under the motor. I had to drop my whole reel underwater, up around the motor. And good thing we didn't film all this.
Yeah, I know it, Winston. We had our hands full there for a minute.
Good job.
Under the boat on the other side, trailer motor, big motor. But you got him, son.
Yes, sir.
You did good.
Thank you, man. All right, I'm going to sort of reconstruct what I just did. Blair and I sort of drifted up close to this oyster bar. And I just tossed right up there, right up on the edge, right in that spot right there. And Blair, about the time it hit, what, 2 seconds, within 2 seconds, it had taken off. Luckily, the redfish ran all the way out in this open, see this open water? He ran out toward this open water, and I fought him, I know, 20 minutes right in there, and he just made run after run. If he'd come back toward this sandbar, toward this oyster bar, I'd have been in trouble. But we finally got him netted. We netted him back over in there, really close to the edge by the time we got to him. So I'm going to show you about right a spot right in there. Well, we were wrapping up a nice trip on Apalachicola Bay with my buddy Blair.
You got him, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm real proud of this one.
That's a pretty fish.
We didn't get a lot of it. What happened? We didn't get a lot of the action film because we made sure we want to get him landed. Well, how long we fight him?
Winston, you had that fish on a good 15 to 20 minutes, and I tried to run the camera, and I was trying to net a fish, and
you can't fish and be a cameraman, can you?
And we was in shallow water. The boat was hitting bottom, and the fish ran under the boat, and we had a mess on our hands there for a minute, but you got it.
We sure had a great time. Yes, he's getting out there fishing and all, but bringing home something like this. This is a perfect size, and we're gonna have him for supper tonight. We're gonna blacken him, I think.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And we just tickled to have him. I wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, man. Sure did.
All right, but Panhandle Outdoors, Winston Chester and Captain Blair Morgan.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.